All right, I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, man, we back with another lesson. And Salakia, if you could hear that that fan, it comes on and off. But you know, Salakia, if you could hear it, but you know, we're just going to work right through it. All right, but we're back with another lesson. And this one's going to be titled First Fruits of Bondage. All right, First Fruits of Bondage. Okay, and that's going to go into the elites. Okay, these top banking families. Okay, these JOOs, right, that got their hand on everything, all the resources. All right, that have corrupted this whole earth, you know, with their politics, with their with the power that was given to them. All right, you know, the riches, you know, the fatness of the earth, okay? By what? By the sword, because that was their blessing, okay? So the first fruits of bondage is talking about those elites, all right? The ones that they call the 1%, all right? Going into slavery, okay? And that is biblical, all right? They're going to be our slaves, okay? That's going to be the first fruits, okay? The best of the best, all right? Your DuPonts, your Rockefellers, okay, your shit, even your Donald Trumps, you know, George Washington's back, okay, waiting to be put in chains and fetters of iron, all right, you know, who the Rothschilds, okay, the 13 families, man, all right, gonna have Queen Elizabeth, okay, licking dust, okay, her little Prince Charles and all that, all right, those are gonna be the first fruits of bondage, okay. It's going to be a very glorious day, okay? It's going to be the day of the Lord's redemption, all right? The day of the Lord's vengeance, okay? The day of the Lord's wrath, all right? And when the smoke is clear, the hunters are going to be sent out, all right, to go collect, all right, the garbage, right, which is these Edomites, okay, that have been ruling the earth, all right? It's going to be their turn to be servants, all right, and to serve us in the kingdom. Matter of fact, let's go into this word real quick. Bondage, right? Right here. Bondage, it says, right? Legal condition, all right, of a serf or slave, right? Because bond means to serve, right? Right? Or slave, okay? You see that? It says what? Serf, tenant, farmer. From Old English, bonda, householder, okay? You see that? So this is what they're going to be doing, all right? They're going to be taking care of us, taking care of our children, taking care of our crops and our animals, all right? Building our walls, okay? Serving us in hardcore bondage. Let's see what else they got here, all right? Right? So, they also got servitude, right? What does it say? It says slavery. Right, bondage, condition of being enslaved, okay? And that's it, man. That's going to be the first fruits, okay? All the men that you don't see that are behind the shadows, okay? Right? The puppet masters, okay? Those are going to be the first fruits of bondage, all right? So, let's start off with the book, right, of Psalms, okay? Chapter 149. And let's start at verse 5.
There's the book of Psalms, chapter 149 and verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds.
Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Now, let me look for something real quick. Let the saints be joyful in glory, okay? Give me a second. Salakia. All right. Right there. Read 14.
There's the book of Psalms, chapter 148 and verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints.
You see that? He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints.
Even of the children of Israel and people near unto him, praise ye the Lord.
Read that one more time.
Even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye the Lord.
So the saints are the Israelites, okay? So we go back to Psalms 149 and 5.
There's a book of Psalms 149 and verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds.
Let them sing aloud upon their beds, right? Because there's going to be victory, man. That song of Moses, okay? That victory song, man, right? That song of David, okay? Is that song we're singing right here. Now, we're not singing Christianity, okay? We're singing the truth. We're singing victory, okay? Upon the wicked, especially the Edomites and these other heathen nations. Go ahead.
Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand.
You see that? Because we're going to execute vengeance, man. Okay? It's going to be a grievous 1,000 years. Go ahead.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people. To bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron.
You see that? To bind their kings. We're not talking about no average Joe six-pack, okay? Joe Dirt with a mullet, okay? Or some Wayne World, rock and roll star. No. We're talking about to bind their kings with chains, right? And their what?
And their nobles with fetters of iron.
And their nobles with fetters of iron. Okay? Go ahead.
To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord.
See that? This honor, okay? This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's grab something real quick so you can see that the story doesn't change. Okay? We're going to go to Revelation when this is an oldie but a goodie. All right? We always got to bring this one out. Okay? Because we know who this pertains to. All right? Let's go to the book of Revelation 13. Start at verse 9.
There's a book of Revelation, chapter 13, and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
If anybody can understand this, okay, and not be blind to the fact, because it's written. If you believe in the Bible, if you call yourself a so-called Christian, right, and you believe in the Bible, you got to believe in the words that are being spoken, okay, that were written, okay, the prophecies. You see, and that's one thing that Christianity never goes into. They never go into prophecy, because prophecy distorts their whole belief system. You see? But we're here to bring out the whole truth. We can give a damn about you because you're going to burn here in America anyways. Okay? There's going to be a lot of wigs and a lot of spandex and moccasins being burnt up with the elements. Okay? Go ahead.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's plain and simple. Okay? Every nation has brought us into captivity. Okay? There has not been one to not have their hands in our spoil. Okay, as the scripture says. Okay? So they're all going to be led into captivity, especially Esau, Edom. Okay? Plain and simple. Read that one more time.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
And that's why Oppenheimer, all right, the Lord put that spirit in him to create the atom bomb and the nuclear bomb, okay? Because as they use that sword, it's got to come back on their own pate, okay? And that's going to be the end of their world, right? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the one that followeth, all right? So this all returned upon them, because the Lord said, he that killeth with the sword, and that was their blessing, must be killed with the sword. But here's the point.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, going back to Psalms 149 and verse 9, okay? Right? Because we're going to execute vengeance, right? And we're going to bind their kings with chains and the nobles with fetters of iron, right? Because he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, okay? And here's the patience, which goes into long suffering, and the faith, because we have faith in what is written. We have faith, right, in every word that the Lord has, put in this book, okay, through the prophets, all right? That's the faith of the saints, which are the Israelites, okay? Because we've been in hardcore bondage, all right? Now it's time for them to be in bondage, and the first fruits of bondage is going to be them kings, them elites, all right? There's no way around it, okay? So let's go to the book of Isaiah, all right, chapter 24, okay? And let's start at verse 20.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 24 and verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard.
See that? The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard that's going into the nuclear missiles, that nuclear destruction. Okay, it's going to feel like an earthquake. Okay? You've seen a drunk man staggering back and forth, right? Takes 2 steps to the left, 3 to the right, right? 1 back, 3 forward. Okay, that's the earth. The earth is going wheel to and fro like a drunkard. Okay.
And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again.
You see that? Why? Because affliction is not going to rise a second time, right? These Edomites, okay, that are in rulership are going to be taken out of power, okay? The Lord said they shall build, but I will throw down, okay? The Lord ain't going to give them a second chance, man, okay? That's why the scripture says he shall put hell and death in the lake of fire, right? Which is the second death, okay? So he's going to get rid of this whole system. He's going to get rid of wickedness, okay, through this nuclear destruction. Okay, this is going to be the removal of evil E, right?
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones.
You see that? He shall punish the host of the high ones, which goes into their military, okay? But the high ones are those kingdom elites, okay? Those that are running everything, okay? And their military system. So the Lord is going to punish them, okay? And this is how he's going to do it. And with them chariots, when Yahushua returns with the host of heaven, okay?
Ones that are on high.
Ones that are on high, okay? So the Lord is even aiming higher than a Bill Gates, okay? He's aiming higher than those that are senates and governors, okay? No, he's looking for those in the shadows, man. The ones that call themselves the illuminated ones, right? That's why it says in Isaiah 14 and I know it's somewhere in there, Lucifer, how is that falling? Let me get it real quick before I butcher it. And we'll return to that, right? Okay. 14 and 12.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
You see that? And that goes into those elites, the illuminated ones, through the left-hand side. Okay? You see that? Jump down to 15.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
You see that? And that's going to be slavery and then death. Okay? Because there's no such thing as, a big lake of fire with a devil waiting for you with a pitchfork. There's many lessons that the elders and all the down to the foot soldiers have done. Okay? So that hell is going to be slavery, right? Lucifer goes into those elites, right? That call themselves the Illuminati, the illuminated ones. Okay? The 1%, the ones controlling everything. The puppet masters on the left-hand side, which we know that the Lord is the true puppet master through the Spirit. Okay? So let's go back to the book of Isaiah 24, continue on in verse 21.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, and verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host, Salakia, of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth.
You see that? And the kings of the earth upon the earth. Go ahead.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners.
You see that? And they shall be gathered together as prisoners.
Are gathered in the pit.
In the pit. You see? And it just said that they shall be brought down to hell in the sides of the pit. Okay? Go ahead.
And shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited.
You see that? So they're going to be put into hardcore bondage. Okay? They're going to be gathered. Right? And we're going to get that after. They're going to be gathered by them hunters. Right? Because they're going to try to hide from that nuclear destruction. Okay? VIA through them bunkers. Okay? Trying to take space shuttles or whatnot. It's not going to work. Okay? The Lord has trapped them. The Lord set a trap. Okay? You've been marked for death. Right? Since Cain. Okay? The wicked are reserved for the day of destruction. Okay? That's why the Lord didn't allow anybody to touch Cain. Okay? Because that was his meal. Alright? That was his, as they say, that's my kill. Okay? When a warrior says that's my kill, you better let that shit alone. Okay? Leave that to him. That's his. Okay? The Lord marked him. Right? And we're going to grab that. We're going to grab that. Let's go to the book of Revelation. right? Chapter 6, start at verse 15.
There's the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 15.
Matter of fact, yeah, Khan, start at, go at 15, go ahead.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men,
Matter of fact, Salakia, start at 14, Salakia.
in the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
See that when a bomb blasts and you see the dirt and all that power, from whatever it is forming, it forms a mushroom cloud. Okay, and that's what they saw back then. They couldn't tell you what they were seeing because they didn't have the technology to tell you. But when it rolled up, okay, it looked like a scroll. That's that mushroom cloud. Go ahead.
And every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
That's that earth wheeling to and fro that we just read in Isaiah 24 and 20. Okay, go ahead.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
You see that? So they're gonna try to hide in these bunkers, okay? Because these elites, they already got these $100 million bunkers that they think they're gonna be able to survive for 20 years, right? A nuclear fallout, okay? But the Lord got different plans for them. Go ahead.
And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Stop right there. Let's go real quick, because he just said, he said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. Now let's see who said this exactly. Okay, when we go to the book of Genesis chapter 4, all right, and let's start at verse 13. Get right to the point.
There's the book of Genesis chapter 4 and verse 13. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Cain said, right, after he slew his brother, right, out of that jealousy. And there's no coincidence that Esau, right, is playing out the same story. He's jealous of Jacob, just like Cain was jealous of Abel, which represent Esau and Jacob. Okay, go ahead.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid.
Say that again.
And from thy face shall I be hid.
So Cain just said, and from thy face shall I be hid.
And I shall be fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me.
You see that? But we all know that the Lord marked him, right? Because the Lord said that mark was for him not to be touched, okay? Which was that leprous mark. That's why he came back. Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment, right? Okay? So when we go back to the book of Revelation, all right, chapter 6, and read 16 again.
There's the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Same thing that Cain said. Why? Because the wicked are reserved for the day of destruction. Cain, which came back as Esau, was being reserved for the same moment right here. Okay? For that day of destruction. Because Cain was the wicked. He was the first murderer. Okay? Cain had that same serpent spirit in him. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he was uttering the same thing that Cain said. They uttering it in Revelation. Chapter 6, verse 16. You see? So read that one more time in 16.
And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
You see that? And from the wrath of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
That's right. You see? And exactly what did Cain say, right? His punishment is more than he can bear. And right here, he said, same sentiment. Who shall be able to stand? Right? What? This is great. This is called poetic justice. Right? Poetic justice is beautiful. How in the world you could call it karma. Okay? This is called the day of the Lord's wrath. This is the day of the Lord's vengeance. Okay? That's what it's called. Because you Edomites also pierced our Lord and Savior, right? On the cross. Okay? So the Lord's coming back for you. All right? The Lord's coming back for you. And there ain't going to be no hiding. All right? Let's close this out with the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 16.
There's a book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them.
And that's what we're doing right now. Out in the highways and byways, we're doing it through these digital epistles. We're fishing for the elect. We're suffering all things for the elect's sake. But what's going to happen after?
And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes in the rocks.
You see that? So the Lord is going to give us those special powers, right? Those spiritual powers to hunt Esau, the elites, right? That were able to escape the nuclear destruction only to be the first fruits of bondage. That's the only reason the Lord is going to allow them to escape the destruction, right? For them to be the first fruits of bondage. Point blank, period. There's no way around it, okay? Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, we're chilling, brother. So, you know, this is the story, and there's no way around it, man. There's no way around it. So, you know, Lord willing, this was edifying, you know. This is about the first fruits of bondage. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a day of celebration, you know. The finest wine with Yahweh Shai after the crowning ceremony, okay? And we're going to have these Edomites looking like Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone, okay? In the Stone Ages, right? Building and sleeping in mud pits, all right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. And with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
Abba Baba.
Baba.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kum Yeshua.
Shalom.
Shalom.